long as everybody's over the right age and it's consensual and all that, that should all be fine. So sneaking around is going to heighten the funness of that. I mean, there's a reason why we tell people in marriages, you got to spice it up. You got to do this, you got to do that, because it becomes a little too what? Routine. Where this would be anything but. I know something you don't know. Now today, it's very much, I know something nobody knows, so watch now, I want to be the person that tells everybody online. I understand the attraction here. There are downsides. A few of you have pointed this out on the text line at 330-450-7625 and say, this kind of feels like the moped line from back in the day, right? Either about an unattractive person, maybe a heavy-set person. It's all fun and games until your friends see. Kind of reminds you of that. But they say it's not, that's part of this, yes. But they say that's not what's doing this. It's just about being discreet, right? I don't really have a problem with it, and I could understand the action angle of it and the funness part of it. I get it. I totally get it. Let's see how long we can get away with this. You don't want to murder anybody, but you've been a little curious about whether or not you could get away with it, right? Well, this is that, just on a much smaller scale with no real problems coming down the road. Unless you are sleeping with somebody that you should not be, then that will be a difference. The downside will only be this. Are you trying to be sneaky because of problems that happen with relationships? Or are you embarrassed of the person you're having sex with? Flip the coin. Is it about being discreet? Or are they trying to hide you? That's different. As long as everybody, both people is what we should say, as long as both of you are approaching it from the same angle of like, no, dude, our friends are idiots with stuff like this, and our families, and like, dude, let's just not do it. Our families have been friends forever. We want to be happy, and let's not just, dude, it's their 50th anniversary tomorrow. Can we not? And just do that. I get it. But as a man who has slept with women and kind of kept them off the, we don't need it. I mean, dude, sometimes people are parking you in positions in their life where they want. There's also this when it comes to sexuality, and this I am speaking from experience on. You can think you're okay with something now, and then 20 years later turn around and go, nope, shouldn't have been doing that. Now, depending on what that activity is that you're no longer okay with today, it may not be the biggest problem in the world, because life is about sometimes making some mistakes, learning on them, and yes, maybe even having a regret or two. But if you allow somebody to hide you from their life and you're not okay with the discrete angle of that relationship, you will resent the living hell out of that person and end up hating them. Welcome back to the Stansberry Show. We'll take a look at Al Michaels for the Olympics. They're doing it. We'll get there. Let's just take a listen to what Al Michaels for the Olympics may sound like. We have been talking sneaky links, and this is different than friends with benefits. Friends with benefits is, yeah, they're hooking up. They refuse to be adults and call each other boyfriend and girlfriend or actually be in a relationship. They're being cowardly at 30, and they're just going to be friends with benefits. They, spend 4 nights a week at each other's homes, and they're always at dinner with the rest of other than hiding the fact that you're sleeping with somebody else. Although Kelly said, look, I understand what you're saying about it being, kind of fun in the beginning. Right? It's exciting. We're doing something we're not supposed to be doing. Am I going to get caught? Is there this? Right? There's a little bit of that. She says, it just sounds like it would get exhausting in the long run. Yeah, probably for you it might. Right? This is where it comes down. There's no one hard, fast rule for anybody in relationships. That's what makes relationships so difficult. You're trying to mix two people together. It's a very difficult thing to do. I think why it can work is you're cutting out a lot of what people don't like about relationships. Because if you're trying to, let's be honest, if you're looking to sneak, you're not going to be seen in public together. So what did I just do there? Well, I cut dinner dates out. I cut movie dates out. I cut all that I spend my time with you out.
Oh my goodness, Luby.
And what's left is the sex. And we are a la carting everything in life more than ever before. I can't imagine sex is going to be the one thing that doesn't get affected by that. Not for all of you, obviously, and hopefully. Gigi Angle, a certified sex and a resident intimate at dating app 3Fun, says there are a million reasons why someone might want to keep a hookup secret. She says for the most part, people tend to hookups when they're concerned about social scrutiny, such as stigma about the person. Okay, well, what I'll say there is there good reason stigma? Maybe your friends and your family are worried about the person that you're dating because maybe they know them a little bit or have seen what they're like in other relationships, or maybe have seen the fact that you pick the same person over and over and over again, have done zero work on yourself and are still picking the same person over and that maybe what they're trying to do is help you. So I would maybe stop and take a look at that, right? She also says it could be about the situation, the timing, or the history of it.
Trucks in front of us.
Now, I hate to bring this up because this sounds like I'm trying to like be like, this side of the political aisle is bad and the other side's the good one, and that's not what I'm doing.
Look at the car.
But the Hunter Biden sleeping with his brother's dead wife and or his dead brother's wife and all that, it's like, dude, that's weird, right? Like, that's strange. If you're going to be sleeping with your brother's wife or stuff like that, it's like, yeah, I understand why people are like, we're going to do this, but we know the family's going to freak out. Yeah, that's a sneaky one. You know a phrase I haven't used yet at all for any of this? And what people say, but watch now, his sexuality won't be one of these. If you're hiding it, it's because you know you're doing something wrong. I think that can be true. And I think some people are going to be like, oh, I'll call it a sneaky link and she won't know. Right? Like, yes, that's going to be a thing. People are going to abuse this faux show. That is going to be a thing, you know. I also think it's just possible that it's like, nah, dude, let's put something in here that makes us feel like we're doing something wrong.
We're going to take an alternate route home.
We're not really doing something wrong, but it kind of feels like we are now, and there's juice in that. Excitement.
I'm not dealing with that traffic and shit on that side of the road.
What does everybody worry about with relationship? Routine. You're in a rut. This would prevent that from happening. I bet longer, it's still going to happen. Once you have sex with the same person, like what, 1,000, maybe 1,500 times, it's like, we kind of got it. Like, right? Like, we know what this is, right? We know how to do the 4-minute version of this, we know how to do the 25-minute version of this, and we know how to do the 3-hour version of this, right? Like, that's kind of what happens in relationships once you've been in them. All right, they just went to bed, but they're probably going to wake up soon. Can I just get the 4-minute version of this? Battery, I just need it right now. Right? Like, that kind of happens. And so routine becomes part of that. They also say, maybe you're looking to hook up with a work colleague. You're looking to keep that secret because you don't want pressure from other coworkers, or you're not looking to be reported to HR. All right, coworkers, that might not be a problem, although put an asterisk there. Once upon a time had been sleeping with a subordinate when I was running a promotions department at a radio station. It was the worst kept secret at that radio station. And instead of me giving her shifts on the promo staff she should have got, worried that I was giving her stuff and people were going to find out that way, I actually hurt her and was like, nope, can't schedule there, people are going to find out. Nope, don't want to give her that because that's going to look like I'm playing favorites. Nope, don't want to. And that's why a lot of companies are like, dude, don't do this. Like, we don't want this in our... To not eventually take their clothes off together, it's just like, come on, dude, we know people are people, man. It's just going to be the way it goes, right? But I understand why companies are worried about it. The only reason why, if you're just like equal, like coworkers, well, first, what could happen is one of you could get promoted at some point, and that's going to get weird. Beyond that, what I would be worried about with a sneaky link in the office would be this. Nobody knows you were in that relationship. Now that relationship has ended. Now all of a sudden that person's running around talking about how you were inappropriate with them once, or you said something to them once. They have deleted every other text message, but here's this one or this, and you have no defense now. Because before, at least, it could have been like they were together like 3 years. Everybody knew we happier. The Stansbury Cup next month, July 24th, our golf outing every year. We're at Raintree Golf and Event Center, and I can't wait to see you there. But you need to get signed up before we will. That at WRQK.com. Looking forward to that. Cannot wait.
What you gotta do? What you gotta do? With the
So the first round of the NBA draft was last night.
That's cool.
And that went a little underreported on. I said a few years ago, and I think I'm a little bit right about this, I think this league could be in a little bit of trouble when LeBron retires. Now, we had the playoffs this year, and LeBron got knocked out pretty early, and sure enough, the ratings weren't, like, great. Right, there was some of that. It almost feels like people are like, oh, yeah, the Celtics won. Yeah. I think they're suffering a little bit of a star problem with the next generation. Now, there's that kid in Minnesota, Anthony. I always want to call him, is it Anthony Edwards, I think? That kid's great. Great smile. He trash talks on the court. He's got a fun game. He plays at the rim. There's a lot to like about that guy. And if they can turn him into the face of the league and he can start to really win some series games, get deep in series, and you're kind of pulling on him, pulling for him to win a championship, that might be able to get us somewhat there. But even NBA fans last night were like, oh yeah, this is on. The Cavaliers did take Jalen Tyson, selected number 20 overall, 6'7". He averaged 19.5 points and just over 6.5 rebounds per game. The past season, playing for Cal, earning first-team All-Pac-12 honors in that process. According to WKYC.com, the Cavs went into the offseason knowing that they needed to upgrade the perimeter, and this is their first attempt at doing that. So now you got a new coach, Kenny Atkinson, and now his first toy in the in his toy chest will now be Jalen Tyson from Cal, and we'll see how that works out. The NBA is kind of this league now, where they tell you everybody's ready. Oh, they're ready. One and done. Get them in the league. They're ready. They're ready. These are grown men. They're ready. And then you watch him in the NBA for 5 years, and the broadcasters are still like, well, he hasn't really developed his outside game yet. He needs to really get stronger on the block. Can't really take you off the dribble right now. And I always think to myself, God, if only there were a place for a man to go get ready to play professional basketball. If only there was that place when you weren't trying to sue the league to get in early and then absolutely fall on your face the entire career. Looking at you, Ben Simmons. Like, come on, man. Like, at some point, some of this stuff is getting crazy. And, this is one of those things football does better. I'm not even the biggest college football fan. I like pro football. I know who all the big players in college football are every single year. Football does a better job of this. You know who the quarterbacks are 2 years out. You're on the edge of your seat. Where's that kid going to go? Dude, Bo Nix in Denver with Sean Payton? Oh, bro, I need to see that. I want to see that. There's excitement built. The NBA doesn't seem like they want to hold hands all that much with the NCAA game. And sports is in a weird territory, right? Because we're paying college kids closer to pro money than ever before. Name, image, likeness. I understand how we got there. And everybody tells me it's because they're stars. Okay, well then why does nobody know their names when they're coming out of college? How could they be worth Bentleys in college if nobody knows who the hell they are? How could that be a thing? I don't understand it. How could that possibly be the situation? It's just strange to me. This league needs a stud, and I mean in a bad way. Bad way. Jason Tatum, now a champion, yes. But 3 years ago said, yeah, I might not be a number one. Imagine Michael Jordan telling you, yeah, I don't think I'm a number one player. Isaiah Thomas, Larry Bird, any of the players that made you fall in love with the league. You don't necessarily got to be the cockiest dude of all time. But it is sports, it is men, it is competition. So you're going to have to talk about defending your ground a little bit better. Now, he won a title, and so, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's okay. And he'll spend the rest of his life knowing he has to thank Jaylen Brown for that. And that's okay. It's okay. Mike didn't win alone either. He needed a little Pippen, needed a little bit of that. That's fair process. I hear Bronny James didn't get drafted last night. Can't be surprised. He's telling teams he doesn't want to take a two-way. A two-way, by the way, is somebody who can play in the NBA, be on the bench, but they can send you back down to like their G League team, and they kind of send you back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He doesn't want one of those. He wants a full-blown contract with an NBA team. Of course he does, because his last name is James, and it's going to look insane if he's not good enough to be a full roster member, but he's on a two-way, and he's LeBron's son, and that's why he got drafted. They're looking to quiet some of them stories down. I don't think they've done a good job of it. I saw LeBron say, he was quoted as saying, anybody who passed on Bronny isn't serious about winning. And people are jumping up and down on this guy. You got to understand, when we start talking about this with LeBron, he's not going to give you the honesty about a basketball evaluation. He's going to be a dad in this moment.
Can you take me back there?
And so would you. You really think you're going to be out there telling the media, sorry, man, dude, my kid ain't me. He's not that good. Dude, where do you see my next kid, though? Bryce, he's an NBA guy. Bronny, dude, he kind of sucks at it. What do you want from me? You think that's what he's going to say? Like, come on. Like, we know he's going to be a dad in this moment, and thank God. That's what he should be. Because his career will end one day. Fatherhood doesn't. So at the end of the day, be a good dad. Take the beating from Bill Simmons, dudes like me, Stephen A, or whoever the hell. Take that beating, because screw us, we don't matter. But your kids do. I'm all right with him being a parent.
Your hair is so nice.
Is he a little unrealistic about his kid's talent? Yes. And gee, wouldn't he just be the first father that would ever be guilty of that? You know how many referees I've talked to in Little League games who are like, I can't do it anymore, dude. You know how many coaches I've talked to who are like, dude, I can't do it anymore. These parents are insane. Everybody thinks their kid's better than they are at everything. We talk about it all the time, right? This generation, full of morons with no work ethic. But somehow you got the one teenager that's like living right? Yeah, exactly. There's a little bit of that. He probably should have transferred to another school, continue to play a little college, and develop his game. But when you're LeBron James' son, there's so many conversations in that. Like, now you got to do what's best for your ability and your talent, and I don't think he's done it. He'll end up getting picked up somewhere, and he'll probably be on a roster somewhere. But jumping up and down on LeBron James today because he decided to be a good father last night, I think is a little insane. Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9, online at WRQK.com. Excited to spend the next few minutes talking to comedian Pat McGann, who's on tour with Sebastian Maniscalco. Pat, thank you so much for joining the show this morning, man. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate you.
I always like talking to comedians because I think you have an interesting life right now. I'm going to start with some low-hanging fruit, Pat. Now, you can grab Pat's debut special, When's Mom Gonna Be Home? That at all your favorite streamers. You can grab that at Amazon, Apple, and the like. But let's start with some low-hanging fruit here because, you know, everybody says, Pat, that, oh, God, you can't make jokes about anything anymore. The PC culture's ruining movies, ruining comedy, and yet podcasts are exploding. It seems like stand-up comedy is having a little bit of a resurgence, a little moment in the sun, almost a la little early 80s. Do you feel as if you're more restricted in what you're saying, or are people making too much out of things like that?
I don't feel that way at all. I feel like you can say more than ever. You can say whatever you want. There might be, you know, accountability for that. That's what it really is. There's just more accountability. So if you say something, you might be, you know, approached or attacked or, you know, asked to consider a different perspective. But at the same time, everyone has their own station, you know, their own channel. So you could just post things and share things and sell tickets. Yeah. And, you know, Louis C.K. was supposedly canceled. I think he's still selling out venues.
Yeah, he sells out arenas.
Yeah, I don't know that is really a thing. And I don't feel it. I feel like I've been saying more than I ever could say. You just might have to, like I said, deal with it, you know?
Talking to Pat McGann, comedian, and I'm interested to see how you feel about, like, when you're watching movies and the like. Do you feel as if they're not as comedic as they used to be? The lines aren't as good? Or are we just, there's so much entertainment out there, of course it's going to end up to be a little watered down.
Within the first,
I do agree with that, and I don't think it's as hard to endorse. There's some great ones out there.
Sure.
Maybe you have to look a little harder. I think that there is a carefulness with comedy when you're scaling it that big, trying to make a big comedy movie. everyone's trying to be careful and
Getting
consider
along, we get the
everything
car.
and not offend. I
So,
see that a little bit.
They probably
But I
don't
also
try
see
to
it as
negate that
really just
by
greed
just
more than
selling-
anything.
That's a fair
selling
point.
it.
A regurgitation of, they just want to remake old things and sell merchandise all around the globe. Like, I'm tired of like watching Spider-Man 12.
Yeah.
And aren't we done with the Star Wars by now?
Well,
Like, aren't there any more ideas out there?
yeah, I'm a diehard Star Wars fan from back in the day, but it feels like a little like, okay, guys, we can let it go. Now, they spent a lot of money on the property. They're trying to wring that money back out of it. I understand it, but it's like, good Lord, we might be able to come up with another idea. Talking to comedian Pat McGann. And my man, you're about to hit the road shortly with one of my all-time favorites, Sebastian Maniscalco, who I think is hysterical. And you guys will be at the Dayton Nutter Center, that on November 10th. You can get tickets at patmcganncomedy.com. I'm interested to ask you about opening shows like that up. I actually feel like there's more pressure on you than there is Sebastian at that point, right? Because you're kind of there to build the room, get everybody in the mode to laugh and the like. What is that like, opening up a room like that?
Well, it can be a little bit intimidating because there's still a lot of movement in an arena. You're in the round, so it's a different environment. But, I know on a smaller scale what it's like to have your name on the venue and your name on the marquee and to be on the ticket. So the pressure's definitely on Sebastian. I mean, he's got to be delivering for all these people. But, it's not easy to be going out cold and opening the show, but that's my role and that's what I got to do. I feel like that's completely, falls on me and I got to do it. And it actually is, a welcome challenge sometimes. It's nice to be able to sneak up on people and, meet some new fans or make some new fans and get some new people to follow your career. But yeah, I'm just grateful for the opportunity, and it's been quite a wild ride to be doing these bigger venues,
Yeah, he must be a big fan because it seems as if like you're the guy with him, right? Like barring any kind of like, double booking issue that you may have, scheduling issues and the like, it looks like you two like to hit the road together a lot.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I get to do most of the dates, and he's going to bring Pete Correale out on this tour as well. Pete and him have a podcast together, so there actually will be two openers on a lot of these shows, and then there's certain markets that I can't do, and there's certain markets that Pete can't do, or it will just be one of us. But up until now, it's just been me, and it'll be cool now. It's a little bit of a bigger show, adding Pete, so it'll be fun. Talking
to Pat McGann. Again, he'll be in town with Sebastian Maniscalco, that and Dayton at the Nutter Center November 10th. You can get tickets at patmcganncomedy.com. Now, I did see this in your bio, and I found it to be a little interesting. You didn't really get into the comedy game until a little late. I think you were 31 when you started. What brought that about? Was it something you always thought about?
Yeah, it was something I was always drawn to. I always loved comedy, and I was a big fan of stand-up, and I never was on stage. I was never like in a play or did a performance. So that whole like being in public, being on stage, being the person in front of the microphone, that was a little bit terrifying to me. So I had to get used to that, and I started going to open mics and was able to kind of overcome that fear and got comfortable and started, getting regular work. I was a house MC at Zany's Comedy Club in Chicago, and that's really where things kind of took off. This is where I met Sebastian, and that is, where things kind of, became real, and I could take the leap and go full time doing stand-up.
Yeah, I bet that had to be a happy moment for your life, right? Where it's like, all right, now I know I can really put my best foot forward in this. I can kind of let the old life go and, kind of cement myself as a comedian. That had to be a happy day for you, right?
Yeah, for sure. And then looking back, it seemed like it was kind of quick and overnight, but the reality was it took it took a few years and took a lot of hard work and, some sacrifice. You got to give up your time and your weekends in a different way that I wasn't really used to,
Yeah, you hear rock bands talk about touring all the time, but I don't really hear comics talk about it as much. But your touring schedule sometimes can actually be more grueling than a band. I mean, you guys are on the road constantly. I feel like you're almost never home. That has to be a little difficult at times, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's nice that we can get home during the week. A lot of times you get home like in between the shows, but the bouncing around city to city, and especially if you're doing the arenas, because with the smaller venues, you're sticking around and do a couple of the markets. He's doing more than one night, so you're less anchored, and it's more in and out. You only in the city for a matter of hours on some of them, but even that is, it's fun because it feels like showbiz.
Yeah, absolutely. And, when you were on the outside looking in at showbiz, you couldn't wait to get in. So I guess it's a little crazy to be like, I'm not sure I like this ride once you're on the inside. We're talking to Pat McGann. And again, you can find him online at patmcganncomedy.com. You are from Chicago, and I've seen here that your debut special was taped at the Vic Theater. That had to be a special night for you, right? Like, that had to feel like, man, I've made it. I'm kind of headlining my own hometown now.
Yeah, it was really cool for me, and I used to live right by that theater, so I used to walk by it when I was, in my 20s, and never thought that I would be, headlining a show there. And it's a beautiful theater. Looks great on camera, so I'm happy that we taped there. And
it does look really
good. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it. That was something that Sebastian put his name on, and that was very cool. And then fast forward, I got to do the Chicago Theater last year, which is another, kind of a milestone. It was a goal for me to be able to do that venue.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool when I saw that. I was like, man, I bet if you grew up in Chicago, and I didn't, but I bet if you did, I was like, man, that would be a great get. As a Chicago-born comedian. Again, Pat McGann will be in Dayton. That was Sebastian Maniscalco, November 10th at the Nutter Center. My man, I appreciate you spending some time with us this morning. We'll send everybody to patmcganncomedy.com to pick up some tickets.
I appreciate it, Dan. Thanks for having me.
You too, man. Have a great day. We'll talk again soon. Welcome back to the program. We'll thank Pat McGann for stopping by the show today. You'll be able to catch Pat and Sebastian Maniscalco down in Dayton at the Nutter Center, that on November 10th. So I saw that Olympic coverage is going to look and sound a little different this time around, as apparently we'll be getting an AI-generated version of Al Michaels. Now, this will be if you're watching on Peacock. Apparently what they're going to do is use an AI version of Al Michaels' voice for, like, custom wraparounds, like kind of back from break. All right, back to the pool. Let's go see Kelly, right? Like kind of that kind of stuff. But NBC announced that Al Michaels will be part of the 2024 Summer Olympics coverage. But they will be using his voice, an artificial intelligence AI-generated version. And that will narrate custom recaps. Per the release, the recaps will, quote, provide fans with their own customized playlist featuring highlights of the events most relevant to them from the previous day and are labeled as Your Daily Olympic Recap on Peacock. The recaps feature a high-quality AI creation of Al Michaels' voice. I have it for you. We're going to let you take a listen to that here in a second. The Al Michaels was trained using his past appearances on NBC and matches his signature expertise. And we'll see how fans feel about that, because they kind of feel like Al Michaels has become a little too, like, he doesn't get excited enough in the broadcast, which is welcome to you can't make people happy. If he gets too excited, it's like, geez, fanboy, calm down. It's a touchdown. If somebody scores a touchdown, Al Michaels is like, he went 60 yards and he scored. It's like, geez, is he going to get excited or not? Come on, Gramps, show me some emotion. You can't make people happy, no matter what you do. Good luck trying to make a mass group of people happy. It is difficult. I have been pushing at that windmill 30 years, baby. It ain't easy. You know what I mean? It could be a tough thing. Peacock's Kelly Campbell and Michaels have been talking up that release. Quote, Peacock continues to introduce unique customer-first features that strengthen our unmatched leadership in live streaming. That's Kelly Campbell, president of Peacock and direct-to-consumer NBC Universal. Quote, with these recaps alongside interactive elements like Peacock Live Actions and Discovery Multiview, we're bringing the best of sports together with the best of technology to deliver fans a personalized Olympic experience in a way that's never been possible before. Quote, when I was approached about this, I was skeptical, but obviously curious, said Al Michaels. Then I saw a demonstration detailing what they had in mind, and I said, I'm in. And really what they told Al is, look, buddy, we want you on the coverage. We're going to pay you to be on the coverage. But you're 116 years old. You don't want to be there every moment we need you there just for that golden voice. So what we're going to do is we're going to do this with your voice. And he went, I love it. Bad idea. How much does it pay? I love it. That's exactly what Al Michaels did right there. Hate it. Oh, it pays what? I'm in. Here is what AI-generated Al Michaels will sound like on Peacock for Olympic coverage.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to your daily Olympic recap, your personal rundown of yesterday's most thrilling Olympic moments.
Press 1 to speak two ways to a human being. You can still kind of tell.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome.
Hi, Kelly. It's still a little robotic.
Hi, Kelly. Welcome to your daily Olympic recap, your personal rundown of yesterday's most thrilling Olympic moments.
They continue here.
Since you're a swimming fan, let's head right to the pool. Team USA secured a stunning victory in the men's 4x100 meter medley relay, smashing the world record. Over at the diving venue, Krista Palmer showcased resilience and skill.
It's getting better as it goes on, and the more you listen to it, it's like, wait, that might be him. Like, the more you listen to it, and the more often they use it, the more seamless I would imagine it will become.
Overcoming past knee surgeries to qualify for the women's springboard final. Meanwhile, a tough break for Canada's Pat.
I mean, they still use the breaths, like, so it sounds live.
Past knee surgeries to qualify for the women's springboard final.
There's the breath, right? I mean, so, like, that's actually kind of smart.
Meanwhile, a tough break for Canada's Pamela Ware as a failed final dive scored 0, ending her bid for the final. Check out these highlights.
Taste it out, it'll sound a little too robotic. We're going to do this on the fly. This is normally something I would have done prior, but, like, let's take that breath off the fly, and it might sound a little too robotic.
Scored 0, ending her bid for the...
See what I'm saying? Like, at that point, you kind of need to leave it in. And there, it will still sell the, oh my God, he's actually really doing that. Now, I don't know why they would be worried about you still thinking they're doing it if they're going to tell you that they're not. I see a lot of people already on comment sections, not with me, but in comment sections online talking about, oh, who cares? It's just the Peacock feed. It's just this, it's just that. All right, but everybody tells me that's the more important media today, is the streamers versus the television. So they're doing it on the more important feed than the television feed? And I'm supposed to think it's not a big deal because of that? You know, people ask me all the time, you think this is going to happen to you? Yes. Absolutely. They own my voice. They own my name. I don't know if I'm important enough. You know what I mean? Like, when they get rid of me, I think it'll just be like, we're making a change. I think I know already the guy they're going to pull. And they'll just do that. Like, I'm not important enough to be like, we got to make sure we have Stansbury's voice under contract for the rest of our life. I think they may use it in some advertising and stuff when I'm probably gone. I think that maybe AI could maybe end up doing that down the road. I don't know for sure, but I think maybe that could be. But yeah, I mean, that's what the contracts say. I technically don't even own my name. It's a messed up game, man. It's a messed up game. I don't necessarily love this. If I didn't have a dog in the broadcasting fight, would I care about it? Probably not that much, like most people, which is exactly how this is going to go. It's not really affecting me. I don't really care. I